Meanwhile, developments in AI are happening very quickly. So are mass layoffs as corporations rapidly embrace AI. But now some companies like Uber and Microsoft are starting to second guess aggressive AI adoption. That's partly because the cost of using AI can exceed the cost of human employees. So where do things stand with AI in corporate America? Well, Wired examined that question in a series of reports for a story titled AI or Die Trying. Joining us now is Wired Features Director Reyhan Harmanci. Reyhan, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. So what was the driving force behind this reporting? And is there an overall sense of where things stand and where they're headed for AI in corporate America?
Well, so happy to be here. I mean, these are, I think, the questions so many workers and so many bosses are asking themselves right now. Um, we wanted to make this into a package because Wired reports on AI every day as part of our news coverage, but we had a feeling that in the past few months something had changed. There was uh, not just in the tech sector, but across a lot of different kinds of white collar work. CEOs were talking about layoffs being tied to AI, and there was a sense that AI had kind of broken containment. And we wanted to capture it in a series of stories. What we did find, just to partially answer your questions, it's a kind of a muddled mess right now in terms of the data. We don't know exactly at this moment how AI is impacting the job market as a whole. It's clearly there are some areas where leaders have pointed to AI as the reason for layoffs, but in other ways there are growing job sectors too. So we're in this transformative moment, and I think that we're not quite clear on how it lands.
Yeah, it might take some time before we get more answers about that. Let's talk about this quote unquote sad wives of AI, which looks at what the article calls an under discussed side effect. What is that side effect
Yeah.
exactly?
Yeah, I mean, this story certainly hit a nerve. This is about a few different things. First of all, there is a bit of a gender split in AI adoption. Men tend to use it and to be involved in its making more than women. So we had a writer who's based in the Bay Area take on a personal story, which is just that the men in her life can't stop talking about AI. They talk about it all the time, they use it all the time. And she wanted to explore kind of how this impacted family dynamics, not just for women or
Mhm.
wives. I think that's any variety of genders could be impacted by this,
Of
but
course.
just like what happens when AI takes over your partner's life. Um, and I think she had a pretty humorous take on it, but I do think a lot of people can relate to the idea that for some men, you know, AI seems to be everything.
It's kind of like having to watch sports all the time with my husband. And I'm like, I really don't want to watch this. Let's do something
But
else.
imagine your husband is whispering into his laptop,
Oh,
you know, about
gosh.
the latest game.
Yeah, no, we don't need that. So, what about AI and the job market? AI is now getting into debt collection and leading to more jobs for philosophers. What does this mean for how we'll interact with AI in the future?
I mean, so we were really interested when our amazing staff writer Kate Nibbs pitched the story about AI debt collection because debt collection is a field where, unlike a lot of other ones, you might not in some ways mind if AI took on some human roles here. Like
Hmm.
it's a very unpopular field for obvious reasons. Like nobody gets likes to be called for the money they owe, and it can be quite abusive and aggressive. So it's been seen as a sector that AI can really make a difference. And already in our reporting, like a lot of startups have sprung up that are making millions of AI phone calls every day on behalf of clients looking to collect debt.
Mm.
Um, but there's some like interesting things where in some ways, if somebody knows that that there's not a person at the other end of the line, they actually tend not to respond in the same way as traditional debt collecting. On the other hand, there's a lot of shame associated with debt, and
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people we quote saying that just like having not interacting with another person and not feeling that judgment might actually kind of help people.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating and very interesting. Reyhan Harmanci, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate this conversation.
So happy to be here.
Of course.